Today is our guest is Mr. Andre. Andre is the founder of Meyer and has over 15 years of experience in the field of intellectual property law, both in Australia and overseas. It is an intellectual property firm based in the Hill District of Sydney and provides services to clients throughout the Sydney Metropole and New South Wales. I'm keen to know more about Mr. Andre Meyer. Let's welcome on the couch of Encontro to get to know about his business and himself. So, Andre, you wanna tell us something about you?
That's a good question. So is it? Would you like me to just chat about my background and whatnot?
Yes, please.
All right. So I started off my career studying mechanical engineering. Straight after that, I commenced law, and then noticed that there was a position at one of the top IP firms in South Africa. So applied for the position, got the position, and completed my legal studies while working part-time, and qualified as a patent attorney 2004.
Okay.
Is that sort of the information? Yeah. All right.
Right.
Then came over to Australia in 2008. Was with a law firm in Perth for 2 years. And then moved to Sydney, where I joined one of the big IP practices here, was there until 2015, and then went out on my own in 2015, and that's where I've been the founder of Meyer West IP. So we've been in business now almost 3 years.
Wow. So you started 3 years ago this one?
Yes, my own practice, but I've been in intellectual property for going on to 18, 19 years.
Yeah. So it's kind of your passion. You like law, or you were why choose particular this area?
Well, that's a good question. The nice thing about intellectual property is you're at the cusp of new developments. So
Yeah.
it's a nice combination of blending law together with technology. So I see new inventions every day. So one moment I may be working on a new type of pillow.
Yeah.
Next moment I may be looking at a new hydraulic turbine.
Yes.
So I think it's the diversity that attracted me to intellectual property, and then
Sure.
specifically patent law.
And I was reading a couple of your blog recently, and it's quite innovative. I really admire when I read your blogs. It's really good.
Well, the nice thing is there's a raft of new things that happen, and I think people are sometimes surprised at the type of things that people come up with, the things that people think to patent. So the blog is really just a little snippet of interesting inventions that are out there, and they are quite interesting.
Yeah, and you come up with the idea when you have some event going on, and it's quite touchy because people are in a momentum at this time, isn't it?
Well, I think so. And the nice thing is, what I have found when I went out on my own, you always think, oh, where will the work come from? Will there be sufficient number of clients? And the nice
Yeah.
thing is, Australians are very inventive. So I must admit, I've been quite fortunate that there's been just a multitude of new inventions that I've been fortunate enough to work on.
Yeah, really good. I was wondering what made you think that this is the best business for you?
So, having been in big corporate firms all my life, it was a bit daunting going out on my own. But I think with the experience that I've had in working in big firms and having been exposed to really the big end of town and very complex inventions, I thought, well, I've gained enough experience having been when I went out on my own just over 15 years. But then knowing that in the geographical area where we are based, out in the Hills District, there aren't that many patent firms around. The most IP firms, the bigger end of town, they're all in the CBD. So
Sure.
that gave me the idea that there's probably an opportunity out in the hills. And yes, I think that was a wise decision.
Yeah, and I think you are not just on the hills area, you are actually across the Western Sydney area.
Correct. So even though we're based in the hills, we do work across the Sydney Metropole. In fact, I've got a number of clients in Melbourne and in Brisbane.
Wow.
But also then, because my clients will generally look at filing patent applications abroad because they have interest in exporting, I do a lot of cross-jurisdictional work as well.
Yeah, and I have heard that you recently started your international market.
Yes, quite right. So I'm off to a conference in May.
Wow.
So going to meet with a lot of people that have been sending me business. So when we file overseas patents, we can't do that ourselves. We need to instruct foreign associates. So a lot of the foreign associates that I have instructed in the past will be at this conference. So it's going to be nice to catch up with them and just stay abreast of what's happening in the IP space overseas.
Right, okay. So are you getting some association with the overseas firms, or you are opening up?
Look, I don't think we have immediate plans of expanding overseas, but it is more cementing the relationships we have built over time. Because by the same token, when those associates have clients that require patent protection in Australia, we will then be acting for them.
You have a high vision, so why not?
That's it.
I'm pretty sure you will achieve what you want.
Thank you.
And we would. So, what kind of services you offer overall? Like, if any one of our audience want to know
Yes.
that this is particular area of interest.
Right, so we specialize, as far as patents go, we specialize in mechanical type inventions where we assist clients to secure patent protection for their ideas. Now, mechanical is quite a broad range of practice, so that can be anything from a medical device through to a mining equipment, through to a broom and bucket type invention. So that as far as patents go. So we assist with mechanical inventions that we assist clients to get patent protection on. Then we also assist clients who come up with new products with unique shapes, and we protect that by way of registered designs.
Sure.
And then also clients who come up with new names for their products or their business, and they need protection for their brands or their logos. We assist in protecting that.
Yeah, I mean, what I heard, a lot of people who are starting small businesses, and especially if we know that we have every day, every week, we are getting a lot of new entrepreneurs in this country. They have no idea they should protect their own brand and logo, and the name is so important.
That is so right. Often, particularly when you're a startup and you have to come up with a name, the effort that you put into that name will only pay off if in fact you can use the name, because sometimes people decide on a name that has already been registered, and if they do not check whether that name is available for use, they can incur all the expense of building a brand, building the collateral, and then being hit with a trademark infringement suit.
Yeah.
So doing your groundwork beforehand, before you make a final call on the trademark you're going to sell, is key, particularly for startups.
Yeah, and I think you keep doing some speaking and some presentations about getting some awareness in this area.
Correct. So we do get around doing presentations, informing startups how to go about securing their rights. So it's not just about making sure you don't step on somebody else's toes, but also ensuring that your brand is protected. Particularly if you're going to be the next Facebook, then a lot of the value, if not all the value, is going to sit in that specific trademark that you have decided to trade under. So trademark protection cannot overemphasize how important it is to ensure that you first check that your trademark is available for use, but secondly, that you actually take steps to protect it.
And when you build, it becomes kind of an emotional connection for you.
Correct. I mean, there's always the emotive value. I mean, I just say Facebook or Coca-Cola and all of those things. I don't need to explain what Coca-Cola is. You will know immediately.
Yeah.
Or Kentucky Fried Chicken. People have a sort of emotive connotation with those brands.
Even in a bottle is thrown somewhere and no name or something is written, you identify it as a brand.
You're quite right. The Coca-Cola contour-shaped bottle, you will recognize irrespective of the brand.
And I think that's also protected.
Correct. So they would have.
Sorry, yeah, please.
So what they would have done is they would have registered the trademark, because that shape of the bottle is so unique that it is a protected trademark.
So you can actually protect, from packaging to the shape of the bottle to anything.
Yes, it depends. The different categories of intellectual property rights all have the requirements. So in some instances, for example, it may be difficult to protect the shape of a product because it may be quite a generic shape, but if you came up with a shape that is striking new, you can, for example, protect it by way of a registered design, and nobody else may then copy that design. So one will have to look at the type of intellectual property that you've come up with. So if you've come up with a new formulation for a chemical compound, that won't be a design, that would be a patent application that needs to be filed to protect the invention. Whereas if you come up with a new logo, that's not a patent, that would be a trademark that you would file. So you look at what the client's trying to protect.
Yeah, and getting that awareness about the patent and the difference between patent and the trademark is very important.
Correct.
What you want to achieve and which area you work on, business area expertise is required.
For example, if you're a furniture manufacturer, the shape of your furniture can be quite key to the success of your product, so you will protect that by way of a registered design. For example, a chair that you sit on may not have any new working components, but it may have a unique shape, so that would be a design. But also your chair will be sold under a unique name, so that people associate that specific style or that chair with your product, and that chair may have then a brand name associated. That would be a registered trademark, for example.
Great. So the shape of the chair, if you design it, that will be your own sole property.
Correct. The important thing is with something like a chair, you need to file a design application. So there are certain requirements that certain products, if they are not protected by way of either a patent or a design, then it's free for all and anybody can copy it. So if you didn't have a design on, say, this chair that you came up with, third parties are free to copy it. So if you are looking at seeking some form of protection, before you disclose your concept to the public, first check whether there is some manner of securing protection.
Yeah, sure. And you also guide people what to protect and what not to protect and what is necessary to be done.
Correct. So a large part of what we do is not just securing the IP rights for our clients. We also give them strategic advice. So it may be that in certain instances, the amount of money spent on protecting a patent or a design may better be utilized by potentially looking at just being the first person to the market and spending that money to build a market, and then relying on your trademark and the brand associated. So it depends on the product, the client's strategies, and those are things that we discuss with our clients.
Sure. So we, in summary, like you helping your client from beginning to the end until there.
Correct. So we will be right at the outset when a client comes up with the concept, assisting them to secure protection, and then also providing advice on commercializing the IP.
And if in case, suppose I did prevent my IP and I've been caught by any other party or somebody brand new started on the same name, is there any policy to handle those things? Or?
Right, so depending on whether you've got trademark rights that are registered or certain common law rights, you can then look at taking action against the person that is using, let's say they're using the same trademark as you. So, of course, when you have a registered trademark, it's far easier to enforce your rights. If you don't have registered rights, well then you'll be looking at your common law rights, which may be quite geographically limited. So best always to have some form of registered proprietary interest.
Yeah, looking at that limitations, even the patent or any trademark, patent is, I think, international, right? It's universal.
No, in fact, all IP rights are territorial in nature. So it means that if you have a patent in Australia and you decided not to file, say, a patent in the USA, then your rights won't extend to the USA, and you will be limited to having a monopoly in the market in Australia. But the rest of the world is then free for others to copy.
This is the new information for the customers.